As architects, we have a responsibility to design sustainable buildings. Here in Western Australia, it's even in our code of competency that we have to have a good fundamental understanding of sustainability. But there's generally a catch. Sustainability always comes at the end of the project, well and truly after you finish designing the building. Typically, there's a few tweaks and changes to make things work, but that doesn't always result in the best, most sustainable building it possibly can be. Generally because this modeling software is completely separate to our modeling software and by a specialist. That's where Enscape Impact comes into the equation. Now, we can have visual data representations of how our buildings perform, how they would perform if we made some changes, and how they should perform, all in Enscape rather than an external consultant. So to get started, we have Enscape open in front of us, and the first thing we're going to do is go to the very top right hand corner and open up Enscape Impact. If it's the first time you've loaded Enscape Impact in your project, you're going to get a window like this. But obviously, for this project, I've already had a play, I've had a tweak, and I've set everything up for it to work. As a generic example, if this was the first time you were running in Enscape Impact, you would be prompted with this screen and you just simply follow the prompts. So location, let's keep it generic for Western Australia. Building type, well, select whatever building type it is. In this case, that's multi-residential. Building year, whatever year the building was built, or if it's going to be built in the future, so 2026, and last renovation. After that, you simply press Analyze, and I'll jump back to my main model that we're working on today, and you'll see all the peak loads, operational carbon emissions, and data come in. Now, honestly, that did not take very long. It took maybe 30 seconds, if that. And if you're thinking, well, this is all well and good, but how do I actually understand this data? Well, first of all, let's break it down. Peak loads is talking about your heating and cooling loads. Now, based on the amount of glazing, based on the orientation, it thinks I'm definitely going to be using more heating than cooling, which is pretty much bang on. Operational carbon emissions is how many kilograms of carbon dioxide per year this house will use to actually run and function based on IES data. Now, for reference sake, IES is the global leader in sustainable practice and energy performance. They have thousands, if not millions of data sets from all around the world that they've curated and used to build a foundation for each project. That way, they can average out the data and give you generic information upfront and very early. The energy use for the property is moderate because obviously it's quite a large, substantial house. So of course, it's going to be moderate. And then we have a breakdown of our energy use. Space heating is going to be 26% of our main energy use. Cooling, 9%. Hot water, 45%. Lighting, 5%. And other equipment, 14%. Now, hot water might be able to be brought down straight away by using heat pumps rather than typical instant gas, instant electric, or boiler forms of storage units. Heat pumps are significantly more energy efficient, so definitely something to look at on a project of this size. Space heating is another big one that we have to be mindful of. And obviously all these data points are well and good, but how do I know where I need to be mindful of my space heating? Well, down the bottom we have our performance maps. Peak loads, heating, cooling, annual energy heating, cooling, and thermal gains from solar and internal. If we start from peak loads heating and just click the button, give it a few seconds, you'll see that generally speaking, the house performs really, really well. It's just the fact that this garage is included in our calculations, but it's just a garage. There won't actually be any heating or cooling associated to this property. So if we jump back to our ArchiCAD model, and for the time being, let's just select the garage, hide the selection. Now we can go back into our Enscape Impact and reanalyze. That immediately removes my garage, changes all of my data, but my energy use increases because now the worst performing element of my house is this master bedroom at the very top and the kitchen down below. Why? Because it's orientated the wrong way. It's got an afternoon highlight window that's going to let in a ton of light and a ton of heat at the same time. And that's just a poor performing hotbox. So that's exceptionally good to know straight off the get-go. From a cooling perspective, again, we have the same energy problems, the same problem areas. And if we're looking to redesign elements of this project, this would be a major element to review. When we then look at annual heating and cooling loads, it's giving us a bit more of a averaged out piece of data. Again, we know that this master bedroom is a huge problem for us. We know that the downstairs scullery is a huge problem, but the rest of the house is performing really, really well. So as an overall, knowing that the family is going to spend most of their time downstairs and in the living rooms out the back, that's quite positive. They're only really going to be heating and cooling this master bedroom overnight, so it's not actually the worst element out of everything. When we look at thermal gains from solar and internal, we can see that that afternoon sun is just destroying this corner again. That's why we have the problem area for the house. But internally, there's not really much that's contributing to thermal bridging or additional gains throughout the year. We do have this one mass in the middle and another mass upstairs, which will cause a bit of a problem, but generally speaking, that's not too bad. So by using Enscape Impact, we automatically know that this master bedroom suite up the top is going to be a problem area. We need to look at it from a design perspective, but the rest of our design is actually functioning really, really well. Now that's the energy performance element of Enscape Impact. Underneath we have thermal comfort as well. Now I've gone ahead and actually highlighted what each individual room is. So if I just jump back, turn off my heating loads, go back to thermal comfort, and let's start by selecting each individual element. So 01 is my bedroom. I can change the parameters to whatever I want to make sure it's accurate. So just ticking through, you can see everything I've gone through and already updated, so the software knows what is going on for us. For instance, even all the way at the back, it knows that that is the laundry room, toggle it on and off, and we're good to go. Now, once all that information has been updated, we can add things like internal parking for the garage, and then this landing is best that we actually hide the selection and the mass. Let's reanalyze that floor plan, it'll remove it. Then it will give us a full room list once all of the rooms have been assigned. So once again, comfort hours, it's telling me this room is actually quite comfortable 100% of the time. And if we scroll through, we know that item 7, which is one of our living rooms, is a bit of a problem area because obviously it's so deep into the project. And then item 9, which is our laundry, is another problem area. But laundry being a problem area isn't too much of a concern given that it's our laundry room. Otherwise, as an overall result, if we go to our analysis in the year, we have 2 rooms which fail, in quotation marks, our comfortable requirements, and 13 rooms which pass. So if I was to change this from a living room to a sitting room, because it is a sitting room, not actually the living room, or even a lounge, reanalyze, it would unfortunately get worse for us as a lounge room. Nonetheless, that means we need to consider this space. We probably are going to need to add another skylight into it. So if we were to penetrate another skylight into this section, then that living room would most likely go to 100% and it'd be quite comfortable year round. The laundry, not so much. If you come across to our analysis tool up the top, I'll just spin around to the pretty side of this project. You can see an overall summary per year, and then you can toggle to months. So generally speaking, the summer months, the hotter times of the year, are going to perform the worst. However, throughout winter, it's going to perform a little bit better. If we wanted to look at similar performance maps, we could simply toggle on and off, 99% and above being perfect, 75 to 98 being acceptable, which is literally most of the house. On the hottest days, that living room, again, is a bit of a problem area because it's underperforming. And on the coldest days, generally speaking, the house is doing quite well. If we then click on View All Rooms, it'll give you a pop-out window of the same elements we looked at room list. Now, if you ever need to change any of the parameters, you can come into the settings, go back to the location, change it, adjust it to however you see fit, change the building type, the building year, and any renovations as well. So if that pop-up window we spoke about previously here doesn't appear for whatever reason, you can simply come into the settings tab and adjust all of it. Last but not least, you can come across to the export button and export a detailed summary so you can share it with your clients, consultants, anybody you wish. We can have a summary report or a detailed report. So let me show you what each one looks like. So the summary report is a PDF document that you can simply scroll through. It's basically going to give you a quick screenshot of the project, give you all the details, which I'll blank out for privacy reasons, give you the generic information of what we've supplied, and then a summary of everything we've just talked about. If you exported a detailed report, on the other hand, then you get an Excel file. So again, it gives you all the information, gives you the building data based on months and all individual categories, and then of course, space data, room names, building types, etc. So not only does Enscape Impact allow us to redesign, reshuffle, improve, adjust, and be extremely flexible with our sustainable design practices, it now also gives us thermal comfort and data exporting capabilities. Anyway, that's all from me, team. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. And like always, I'll see you next week.